Welcome to the Milsurp Mike channel. When it comes to milsurps on social media, most YouTube milsurp guys have an Instagram page, but there's a whole milsurp community on Instagram that you don't see on YouTube a lot of times. So it's kind of fun to interact a little bit on Instagram, as there are a lot more milsurp people on Instagram than there are on YouTube. And every now and then seems like you get things like declared like SKS week. Well, for some reason this got declared Mosin week. So I'm going to cross the YouTube and Instagram streams a little bit here.
We'll cross the streams.
Excuse me, Egon. You said crossing the streams was bad.
Cross the streams.
And I'm just going to show off my Mosins. And as I talk about each one, I'm going to go ahead and put the pictures up over this just so you don't see my ugly face and flybys all throughout, because that'll be a really boring video. So anyway, let's just start off with my oldest marked one. This is my Sestroix M91. It's 1898. It is fin captured. I'm not really good with Mosin markings. When it comes to milsurp history in general, I look at the forest a lot of times and I don't look at the trees. But if you want to try to find out the individual history of a rifle, a lot of times knowing the markings is where it's at. So on this one, the SA, is always a sign that, it was captured by Finland. But there's a couple weird markings on here, like there's a R with a circle around it, which indicates a Remington-proof mark, which I don't know how something made in Russia and captured by Finland would made it over to Remington. But it also has a big D mark on there, which means it was made to handle the D-166 ammo, which I believe came out in 1936. To find out a lot more, like on barrels and stuff, I'm actually going to have to take this thing apart, because a lot of, you can find out a lot of barrel information below the stock line. So this is one I actually need to take apart and learn more about. But this rifle was also featured in my M9 3-line rifle video, the M91 video, and I will put a either there or there. I will put a card up there if you want to watch that video, because that's a good history on the Mosin rifles, or a good concise history. Another old boy I have here. Now I got this one for a deal because the stock's kind of bunged up a little bit, but this is my New England Westinghouse. So you almost have to have an American Mosin in your collection at some point, because there are a couple. New England Westinghouse in Remington was contracted out to make Mosins in 1917. Of course, Russia dropped out of the war, and a lot of these Mosins were actually used to help train troops in the United States. Now, Mosin and Garand guy, he is building an additional wing to his house to house all of his Remington Mosins, but this is the only American Mosin I have, is my New England Westinghouse. And it really needs a new stock, because the stock kind of got bunged up on it. Now, I could go with my fins. I guess let's go chronologically. So we'll get into a couple of my fins. Now the Sestroix was captured by Finland, but I have two fins. I have my White Death rifle, my M28-30, the rifle used by Simo Häyhä as to kill a lot of Russians in the Winter and Continuation Wars. This one does not have very many matching parts on it. I just mainly got this because of the whole White Death thing. I will throw some pictures up on it. This is another one that I really need to take apart and clean up really well. I haven't got to that yet. And of course, no fin collection is complete, mainly because they're the easiest fin to get in the United States is the M39, which is probably the M39 is probably the best variant of the Mosin Nagant ever built. So I will put some pictures up of that too. Like I said, well, okay, I guess I'm out of chronological order now a little bit. This one is my M9130, and you can tell that there are a lot of idiot scratches on it. This is actually my first milsurp ever. It's a Tula 1931 hex receiver Mosin. This got shot a lot when I got it, and it got thrown in the back seat of the truck a lot when I got it. So it has a lot of idiot scratches on it, but this has actually been used a lot by me. Maybe I need to refinish it at some point just so it looks a lot better, but I don't know. This one kind of has a special place in my heart. I may just leave it like it is, because this is the gateway drug milsurp for me. My M9130. I bought 2 of these at a gun show. I bought one for my dad and one for myself. They were $200 out the door. Dad's was a 1934 hex receiver, I believe. I had my brother. I regret doing this now, but I had my brother. This is before I knew better. My brother-in-law had him, refinish it, and he actually replaced the steel butt plate with a padded butt plate, so a little easier for Dad to shoot. But to tell you the truth, I'm not sure Dad's ever shot it since he got it, and he's had it for 10 to 15 years now. I have. Let's go with the PU sniper next. Sarco or Samco had a bunch of these for sale a few years ago, so I went ahead and picked one of these up while they were still decent. Of course, it's the Chef's. There's not very many Mosins made in Tula during the war, because Tula was getting close to being overrun by the Germans, so that factory was evacuated. And even though there were some rifles made at Tula, a majority, especially of your Mosins, are going to be made at a Chef's. So, but it's a PU scope. The original snipers were PE scope. PE scope was actually a lot better quality, but of course, as you needed mass production, you needed a cheaper made scope, so you got the PU. And again, with the 9130, the 9130, the PU, and the 2 rifles I'll show you next, I actually made a video as the second part of my Mosin series. Again, I'll put a card. I'm not sure what my orientation is, so it'll either be there or it'll be there, but click on that for my 9130 PU. My next 2 rifles, which are my short boys, the Model 38, which is basically was made for cavalry, signal corps, troops like that. It wasn't expected that they'd be doing melee fighting, so there wasn't even a bayonet or even a bayonet attachment included on this. Of course, most of the fighting, especially early on for the Soviet Union, ended up being in cities and buildings and close combat, so a bayonet was desired. And the M44, that's how you got the M44. The stock was slightly modified, and you got a attached, swing out bayonet on there. So anyway, a lot of these guys on Instagram doing the Mosins have a lot of Mosins. My collection's all over the place. I don't. Some guys like Mauser, some guys like Mosins. I think I have a total of 8 Mosins here, and they're kind of all over the place. But I don't have many firearms in my collection where I have any redundancy. Like, I'm not going to have 2 Remingtons or 2 M31 or M91s or M9130s. The same thing. I kind of go for history or linear history on various countries, like my German collection, my Russian collection, English collection, American collection, etc. About the only ones where I will get multiples are Garands and M1 carbines, and I'm even down to just 2 Garands right now. I do need to get a Springfield and a Winchester, so I at least have all 4 makes in the Garands, and the carbines I have 5 out of the 10 right now. So I might eventually work on that, or I might eventually sell them down for something else and just have an example of one of each. But anyway, that was me showing off my Mosins for hashtag Mosin Week 2021. This is mainly an Instagram thing, but I said I'd go ahead and put up a video on YouTube. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a great day.